The head of Meriton Apartments says he's exploring overseas appetites for taking over the company, but Harry Triguboff also wishes he had more local buyers to provide a more stable base. Well, he wasn't worried about speaking to Sky News business reporter Kai Chow, who caught up with the property czar at a Menzies Research Centre function and started by asking how the high Aussie dollar was affecting business.
Well, this is what happens. The overseas customers come and tell me, Harry, you are now very dear, because they compare prices here to, say, Hong Kong. Oh, no, not Hong Kong, say Shanghai or Beijing. And, of course, as our dollar goes up, then in their minds the cost of the product goes up. So I turn it around and tell them, oh, you silly fellow, but you bought before, and look how much money you made, because our dollar went up. So you can look at it both ways. The new one says it's dear, the old one says it's made a lot of money. So I tell the old one, go and buy some more. You see, you've made money not only on the product, but also on the dollar. So it depends how you look at it.
But aren't your sales down because of the high Aussie dollar?
No, not really, no. They were down for a little while until they adjusted themselves to the idea, and then it's okay.
So demand is still strong then, coming from, say, the likes of Asian students?
Yeah. I always believe a lot in Sydney because our rents are very high. For some reason, they always talk about our prices being high, but I talk about our rents being high. And our rents being high gives me the confidence to build more and more. And that was always the case. If you look at our rents, they always go up, because the rents are not affected by interest rates directly. Now, the price of units is directly affected by interest rates, so that can go up and down. But the rents, it's supply and demand.
So do you see that gap between rents and prices of apartments widening then?
It's really reasonably steady, but the rents are edging up all the time. They're catching up to the price, which in a way makes me very happy, because first of all I'll get more rent, and second of all the price won't look so dear anymore because the rents are high.
So when you have a lot of overseas buyers or overseas renters, then how much attention do you pay to interest rates? Do they affect your business much?
I welcome any buyer with open arms. But I think it is very unhealthy that we depend so much on China today, because China might have problems too. Like, I believe China already has problems because of the weakness of Japan and the weakness of Europe, Middle East, America. I mean, China needs all these places to be very viable for China to do as well as it does. And of course the Chinese will always look after their home first, which is normal. So even though I have Chinese buyers for the last 20 years, and they become more and more important every year, I would still like the average Australian person to be able to buy a home here. Okay. That would give me more stability than just depending on others.
So what do you make then of the government's decision to change rules that make it harder for foreign buyers to buy apartments? Because some, of course, say that that's what's been driving up the prices of apartments.
I don't think they were. Unfortunately, the Australians just couldn't buy. So it wouldn't matter what they paid. They just went and bought other properties. See, the Chinese, they only buy in certain areas. They will not go and buy in Campbelltown. Campbelltown is far away from the center. They will only buy in the center. And so they drove up the prices there, yes, but it's really helped a lot for the Australians, because then rented them out. And because they bought so much, we had a lot of stock to give. Because if they wouldn't buy, then we wouldn't have the stock, and they couldn't be able to rent, because Australians do rent these apartments.
So have apartment prices overall gone down as a result of these changes to the rules?
No. The prices have come down a lot in, say, the Gold Coast or Queensland. And that is because people are not coming in the same numbers like they came before. There's not enough work for them. And if you look at the unemployment is higher there. So the prices have come down there. And I'm talking significantly, 20%, 30%. But in Sydney, the prices have not come down. They're not going up a lot either. But there's a big change happening, you see. The Asian buyer, Chinese buyer, he looks at things with confidence. For him, snob appeal is not very important. And when I look at the young Australians, they actually are copying the Chinese without knowing it, of course. Because when I go and develop in the North Shore, which is leafy North Shore, which is a very popular area historically, then the children from the people I buy their homes from to pull them down, they do not stay there. They